pretty much just going into the same detail as what I'm about to say on this, but it's going to be quicker and easier just to do a live stream and save it as a video than record it and have to convert it and then upload it. It's just quicker for me to just do it as a live stream. But I've got some important information, which is both good and bad. So everybody knows that we've been sort of looking for a UFO on propaganda for some years now. It's been spotted by a drunk lad that was playing it. Somebody else claims that they saw it. Many people have claimed they've seen it. I have no idea, basically, but I wanted to put this to rest because I don't want to waste any more time looking into something that's not true. So what I'm going to explain to everybody now is something that is going to finally solve this Easter egg for the good or the bad. So in a nutshell, I've ripped the game files apart and got hold of all of the EBX files for the game. Battlefield 4 is essentially just Battlefield 3. It's essentially Battlefield Hardline. They're all the same game, pretty much. It all works the same way, except for in Battlefield 4 there are Levolution events. But they're easy to read because they still work. They still have EBX. They still reference GUIDs of objects, hashes of events, all sorts of things. So, where do I start? In the game files, this train is utilised, specifically those undercarriages on the back of those trailers there are only utilised in propaganda. Yes, you can find trains on other maps, but they're different. They've got a different GUID, different nav, they've got a completely different mesh to them, okay? But they are essentially trains. The train and the Levolution event of propaganda is very easy to read. It's straightforward. In fact, the file's not even that long because it's quite straightforward. It has a series of triggers where it goes from checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint, which is why it stays on the rails and goes across from one side of the map to the other, has a timeout and then repeats and respawns over that. It's the same train. Once that train disappears over there, it actually instantly reappears over there. It's the same train every time. Nothing new spawns, nothing different, it's the same. Basically it disappears, quickly shoots down to like 1,000 on the y-axis to disappear, hide itself, and then goes up there at such a fast speed that it's pretty much invisible for you to see, so it looks as though it just appears. Okay? That's how this works. The problem is that it's an ambient effect and not necessarily a Levolution event. Because the Levolution event on propaganda is labelled as a rolling door. So when you think of a rolling door, I've obviously gone and checked all the doors. There are no rolling doors. In fact, there are no rolling doors at all that can be triggered that are a part of any Levolution event in Battlefield 4. So the word rolling door has been put there to hide its true meaning, and it's been done purposefully. But there's a lot more to it than that, because just here is a billboard, and in that Levolution event, this billboard and its GUID along with an event hash is all included as a part of a Levolution, which means that something to do with this and something to do with the train and maybe this open space that we've aptly got here, something to do with this little area here in the train, I'll tell you more about this in a second, is all linked. So that obviously gets me excited to think that maybe the train can be derailed, or maybe it's something else. But the wreckage of those trains can also be found in the game files and yet that's the only train in the game with that GUID that can be found anywhere in Battlefield 4, and it's on propaganda. And the wreckage for those trains is also linked in the Levolution event alongside this billboard. So it's really hard to extrapolate this sort of locations of items. And the way that I've worked this out is, for example, is to identify a tree. And I'll tell you why a tree.
Hey, we got a war to
So
fight.
this
Get
tree
back
just
here,
there.
soldier.
I identified that tree as being approximately on the same Z coordinate as the billboard.
Come on, there's nothing out
Approximately
there. Move back
within
here.
the decimal point of 6 or 7. It's really not. It's really quite close. So to get the actual coordinate of that, I can confirm that this is the billboard that is included in that Levolution event. It's not those ones, because the Z-axis is way too much. I mean, the difference between that tree and this billboard is about 13, whereas you go up to the next billboard, it's just way too far. It's up into the 40s and 50s up there. Okay. So what have we got? We've got a train with 4 exploding tanks on the back and a billboard. So let's just consider one thing. Over here is a location, and when I mean a location, it's around here, somewhere. That coordinate is also in the EBX for this Levolution event. So let's just consider one thing. We've got 4 carriages with explodable barrels. This is the only place that you can sort of get 4 players in visible range of those barrels. Near that billboard, or before the billboard, and we've got this sign with 4 people. Now this is where the whole story is going to turn up on its head, because it's not as simple as what I'm going to explain. My belief is that you have to do something with 4 players from that location, aiming towards this location to do something with the train. What's this got to do with the UFO? Well, I'm going to explain further now. So when we were looking for the Megalodon Easter egg years ago, I think it was Julian Monilov, one of the developers at DICE, put a clue on the propaganda map on the side of one of these green boxes. And it's one of the boxes that has RAW on the top, you know, it's the pickup EOD bot thing. And the clue basically was a texture that pops up saying Paracel Storm plus something scribbled out equals Megalodon, with the text under it saying shush, I needed to hide some of it. And then we later found out the scribbled out bit was the parrot, so we knew there was obviously that. So just from statistics and trial and error, it's a 1 in 20 chance approximately for that texture to appear, and it has to be on a ranked server. I think there's more chance of it appearing on Chainlink game mode than Conquest. However, for that texture to be random, the server has to fulfill some set conditions, which I have no clue. I have no clue about this. Okay, I don't know what the conditions are, but there are a set of conditions that the server meets, which triggers that texture to appear. And I think the reason why propaganda was chosen for that texture to be random. Now, there have been other textures to appear. For example, the Megalodon Easter egg texture for Lumfini Gardens. Now that is static. It's there 100% of the time, but this isn't. And I think the reason why that texture was put on there was not just to do with the Megalodon Easter egg. It is a clue to indicate that the server meets the conditions for you to continue to trigger something further. Okay? So, I need people to help. We need to find a server which meets the conditions, and we can confirm that by the texture appearing. And then we need to trial and error with those conditions with the billboard, the train, and the 4 players. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen exactly, because I've not seen it. I've checked for textures, sound effects, I've been through basically everything, and I'm not joking, I've lost 40 freaking hours to this, and I've kind of got to the point where I'm not going to waste any more time with it. But I just do know that there is something more to this map than just that. Also, as a part of the checkpoint process for the train, when the train gets to about here, it slows down by 20%. The speed of the train slows down, okay? In fact, anybody can measure the speed that it travels from one side to there, and then from there to there, to know that it's different. It's about 20% slower, which is even more of a reason why I think that that speed change is something to do with you giving it chance for you to do something at that point in time. So, what's this got to do with the UFO? Well, let's face it, if there's a UFO, I think we would have seen it by now. And we would have seen more sightings of it by now. But we haven't. And I think that is because that event and the conditions of the server to meet for those textures to appear all has to be perfect for there to be any remote possibility of there being a UFO on this map. So maybe, I don't know, we can do something which then gives us a UFO. But there is something that's going on with this train. And let's face it, this map's pretty boring. I mean, that's a pretty boring Levolution event. For a map that's so detailed in its own assets, like, they've gone to all the work of making this just for this map and whatnot. And you've just got a train that goes from one side to another. I mean, really? Is that it? So, I'm actually not going to be surprised at all if, after I've posted this video, and anybody that's dedicated to spend some time into looking into this, I reckon at least by the end of this year we're going to see some sort of result of some secretive Levolution event. I mean, there's literally like 100 and something, about 112, 130, I can't remember exactly, I didn't count them all, but there's a lot of references in the EBX files that, I mean, we may find that there's a lot more reference to this location or the surrounding area, but I can't positively ID an exact location because I don't know of any method apart from using other objects in the game, such as a tree, to determine the location of another object, if you see what I mean. If anybody knows a way of doing that, please let me know, because that will be a game changer. I mean, it'd be nice if there was some sort of console command that you could type in to show your map coordinates, or a hack that can do it. I'm sure a hack could probably do it, but I'm not sure how that hack's coordinates are going to be mildly in tune with what's shown in the game files. So yeah, it's a catch-22 this. But yeah, if anybody finds a server on Propaganda and you see the Paracel Storm Easter egg clue on the side of the raw box, then get your friends on the server, get 4 of you over to that location over there, I don't know, equip RPGs, and before the train gets to here, like get over here or something and blow up all 4 of those things at the same time. I really have no idea really, but that's just a starting point. But there is something going on. That's really all I have to say about this. When it comes to that channel that's posting videos of Battlefield 6 leaks and stuff. I think it's all a load of bullshit. I don't think that the leaks are anything to do with that channel, but I've got a funny feeling that whoever that content creator is has got maybe some data mining skills and has potentially uncovered an unfound like Easter egg in Battlefield 4, and he's using that to his own gain basically. But it was that channel that sort of prompted me to spend a little bit more time in this Easter egg hunt. But I don't really want to waste any more time in looking into it, to be honest. As I say, I've put tens of hours into it already, and to of no avail have I found any UFO or found a way to trigger this rolling door Easter egg or rolling door evolution event or whatever we want to call it. But whatever we know is that this event is totally separate to the train as we normally see it. It's an event that goes alongside with the train, involves this area, that area, but I don't think those areas are remotely anything to do with servers that have not met that condition, which I think is hinted at by the confirmation of that Megalodon Easter egg texture. How that mechanic works in the game, I have no idea. Maybe somebody could shed the light on that. There's a lot of sort of modders and developers in the Venice Unleashed community working with Battlefield 3 that will very, very easily understand the mechanics of what's going on. It'd be nice if somebody from that community would pay attention to this and put their effort into debunking this or solving it or whatever they need to do. I know as much as digging the files and converting them from EBX to text so they're in a somewhat readable format in a text editor, and then it's just cross-referencing GUIDs. Now I've made mods for Battlefield 3, so I do know how a majority of it works, but at the end of the day it is common sense. GUIDs represent the object and the event of the hash of the event, and all of them have coordinates, so it's extrapolating those coordinates into the right place, and it's taken me hours just to find out that the GUID was a billboard, and then after that it was further hours upon end of calculating that it's this billboard. It's definitely not any other billboard. If it was that billboard, it would be on a different X coordinate. This and that is the Z coordinate. That there would be a different Z and X coordinate. This one is the closest billboard, which has come from that tree down there. And I've only used that tree just as a marker point, as a reference to find out the approximate location of that tree and what this is in comparison of that tree. This billboard has secrets. Maybe everything else around it has as well, but I don't have time to confirm that. It's maybe these benches, maybe I don't know, maybe the bus. But we've got a nice little open space here for something to happen, at least. Whereas, I mean, there's walls there as well. Maybe I could spend time to confirm if these walls are different in any way to these walls, for example. I don't know. And I've also noticed the train always makes the horn noise as soon as it gets to here. Again, maybe that's something to do with it. But yeah, that location, that billboard, plus train before it gets to the billboard. I'm pretty sure of that. So yeah. Oh yeah, and going back to the train wreckage. I've looked at all the trains. There are no train
Where the heck
wreckages.
are you going, soldier? Stick with us.
So I believe the train wreckages are maybe used in... What is that keeps exploding? Anyway, I'm going to put this to rest. It's been a long, tired journey looking into this, and I'm not going to waste any more time looking into it. But there is a secret that needs to be solved one day, and I'm pretty sure that the developers at DICE will and can confirm it. We've already got some sort of confirmation from Nicholas Astran, but like I've been told, he does sometimes troll. But he's been pretty credible in the past with the Predator Easter egg stuff. I'll just cover on this briefly. So we were looking for the Predator Easter egg on Battlefield 5. And there was conversation to and forth amongst people and Nicholas Astran on Twitter. And the conversation came up about unsolved Easter eggs in Battlefield 4. And he comes up and basically out of the blue says, "You mean the spaceship?" And we were like, "No, the spaceship's in Battlefield 3 on the Operation Riverside map." And he says, "No, that's a drone, tribute drone. That's not what I'm talking about." So he meant a spaceship in Battlefield 4. So then we were talking to him over a series of days, roughly exchanging tweets about it being the Titan on Hangar 21, and him saying, "No, not that spaceship." And then somebody posted saying, "Oh, it's a UFO Easter egg," and he responded with an alien face. The guy who's putting or whoever it is putting these videos up on that stage 2, stage 3 complete or in progress channel has hinted towards aliens in the videos, and 349, which I came to the conclusion was the alien trio dog tag. In the latest video there's an emblem on the character's hat that says 349, and in between the numbers there's 3 little aliens. So maybe that's something to do with it. Maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe, I don't know. But let's just say this: 4 players, all wearing the alien trio dog tag, somewhere over there in that location, destroys 4 of those exploding containers on the train before it gets to that point, and goes from there. And we'll see what happens at that point. But up until today it's not been cited except for that guy on that video, and he admitted that he was drunk. So it's not really credible information about it. But I've done what I can about looking through the game files and the EBX files and stuff, and I've done pretty much everything I can in my power to sort of put an end to this mystery. As far as I'm concerned, there's no textures or meshes of UFOs as far as I'm concerned, but then again, just on this map alone you're looking at 45,000 textures. It's basically a needle in a haystack, but the biggest clue is the fact that it's been aptly renamed to Rolling Door, and anybody that knows how to dump the game files and search through them, by all means go ahead and do that, and you can confirm what I'm saying is true. But I'm not going to sit here for 6 hours fishing out all the GUIDs just to prove a point when there's no need to, basically. Anybody else is more than welcome to. But I've wasted enough time, and I'm putting is to rest. So
There's your ammo. Go get it.
that's all I have to say about it. Good luck, community, and maybe I will wake up one day to find a video of the whole thing finally being solved. So good luck and see ya.